Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the BOCC meeting for May 2nd, 2023. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, gentlemen, the first thing we have on our agenda are our minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections?
I do not.
I don't either. I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for April 25th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, April 25th, 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next up is our public comment session. The Board of Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Persons speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. And comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Oh, hang on, I've got to get the timer out.
Have my notes, I'll be able to go. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, gentlemen. It's not on. There. Good morning, everyone. Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21, Montezuma County. I want you to know that I love Montezuma County. We need to keep Montezuma County going strong. As you know, I participate in civic issues here locally and elsewhere, but I did listen to the workshop yesterday, land use code discussion. I participated in a legislative committee hearing to testify yesterday. It's an eye-opener every time you see something going on. I know you guys know things that are going on. Last week, I believe, here recently, one of the meetings, you had a letter of opposition to something that was coming down towards the county from the state regarding land use and how the state might interfere with what goes on in the county. So I was glad to see that opposition. I kind of figure, though, that maybe you should have a stack of letters showing your approval or disapproval for things that are going on, and just keep sending those things. I don't know how many things you do testify in regard to individually, but there's just a whole lot going on. The hearing that I listened to yesterday was parental rights. We have to have a resolution to go to the ballot so we can have parental rights in our children's health and our children's education. It's a ridiculous thing to have to do, but anyway, it died in committee. There were, I think it was like 7-2 or 7-3 saying no, we're not going to allow parents to have that kind of involvement. But anyway, back to here. The land use code discussion yesterday. I heard some really good things. We do have a land use code, and so I appreciate the comments that were made that we need to use it, and if we need to change it, but we don't want things to happen out in the county that we don't need to. One of the things that came up, there was a survey about housing and the county involvement. I don't know that the county needs to be involved in housing issues other than using the land use code to its best ability. The market should be the driving force in housing development, and if there's a need out there. I don't want to wake up one morning and so use the land use code and see across the county road something that, wow, I never expected to see that in my location way out in the county. So use it the best you can. Workforce housing, I'm concerned to what that's going to be. I think I heard that it's going to be mostly rental properties, and so that, again, I think should be put up to how the land use code is best used. And we don't want to get allowing the administrative state to take over our county. We'll leave that to the feds and somebody else, and hopefully we can fight it from down here. But we do need to stay on top of things. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next. Okay, with that, we'll close the public comment session and we'll move right into our department reports. And first up, we have Road and Bridge, Mr. Englehart. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Nice day out there. So, first activities, I guess, for the month of May, we're working on finishing up Road P this week. I show a couple of days next week, but I think this morning is good news. We'll probably have that wrapped up by tomorrow. We'll have it shaped and gravelled, and we'll put mag chloride on it and carry us through the summer. And then probably chip seal it later this summer when we're doing later chip seal, and let this thing settle in a little bit and tighten up and do it that way. But the good news is it probably won't even stretch into Thursday. Hopefully have it open by tomorrow if all goes well. So, blading and mag chloride will be the big activities for the month of May. We'll get started on that. They all want to do it at the same time, of course, and we only can do so much at a time with our trucks and the amount of water trucks we have, so we'll have to get that spread out and get going over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And then DNL Construction will start on their bridge on the 15th, so that'll be a road closure there on Road N, detour everything to Road P, and put all that traffic up there for the next 120 days while we build that bridge. And then some blade patching starting at the end of the month, so we can get ready to do some chip sealing. So those are the big activities throughout the next 30 days that we'll be focusing on. Along with that will be anything that comes up from all the damage from the flooding. Road 36 will be one we have to go back and repair again. I've heard some reports the Dolores Norwood Road is a disaster. I don't know where we'll go with that, being it's a Forest Service issue, but there'll be some phone calls, I'm sure. So.
Oh, we've already gotten them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I drove up there 2 weeks ago, and man, I'm not sure, Rob, you can
do anything with it.
blade patch that.
That's what I'm hearing the same. I haven't seen it. That's kind of the rumors I'm hearing too, so.
It's not good. However, the new chip seal portion seemed to have held up a lot better, but still that snow wasn't off of it either, so
Yeah.
not being able to really,
And those are just examples of other roads. There's others in the county that settled. There's shoulders we have to repair. There's, Mancus is faring pretty well. We had some issues on Road L last night that we caught before we lost that road. And, but there's still some shoulder damage. We'll work on it today. But if we can get through this next 2 weeks here, I think we might get through this without anything major. But we didn't think Road P would collapse on us either. So you just catch a few and miss a few. But anyway, that's kind of the big work plan for the month of May as we get into the chip seal season in June. So I did want to bring up a picture show today from Road P and Road 36. You want to go ahead and start that? It'd be fun to talk about it just a little bit. So this all started with that right there. Looks like about 8 foot of snow, and it all began back about 3 weeks ago or a month ago with the early runoff in the Cortez area. This is a video that we took the day that it broke loose. This is what kinda happened. The water going down. That's the one goes out to like Creek Bridge right there. You can play it again if you want to. That's an enormous amount of water. This is a big main.
The depth of that water, this video doesn't do it justice.
No, because we had to go way down to get to the culvert that was down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was enormous. It must have been 16 foot deep in there, so. The after effects of that night, that all happened at about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just a sinkhole, and the guy was, again, we talked about it, was a very fortunate man that didn't get hurt. He fell in a sinkhole that was dry. Within hours, you saw the video, is what we had. So anything quicker or later than that could have been a disaster, absolute disaster. This is a photo given to me by Kent from Brandon Johnson at MVI. They were doing a tour of some stuff, and it's a great photo from a helicopter viewpoint of what we had there that morning. Within a few days of that, after that, you can see where we'd started cutting in. The weather's better, and we started cutting in. Now we're working our way to the bottom to get down there, get in the bottom, start working our way back out again. Pipe that I found in California, 5-foot diameter, smooth bore. We put 2 runs of this in, one at the bottom elevation and then another one about 75 feet west at about 2.5 feet higher to give us a plan B to get that water out. So we got the main one in the bottom, the main channel running now, and then this second one will be an overflow situation. That gives us basically double what we had there if you look at it from that standpoint, due to the head pressure we'll get plus the smooth bore pipe, and it won't rot away. And the whole problem when we got down there was that culvert was a carcass of nothing. It was rotted completely through. So the 2 ends have been replaced at some point over the last 30 years, but the middle was just nothing but rust. So that's what caused the whole thing to finally give it up. So this is the second pipe we're putting in. We're down at grade with that pipe there. We got down in the mud and we cleaned it out and put some riprap down the bottom of the whole thing and built a bed to set on, put some drain rock on it. And next picture, got the pipe put in and then we flow filled it. I think we've used 70 yards of flow fill in there to get that locked in and protected around that pipe there. You can see the barriers on it to keep it from floating up because you're basically trying to sink a battleship without any ballast. So that's basically what we had. So we got that in, locked in, and we had diverted the water around to the other pipe. The first pipe was at that higher elevation. That's where the water was going. Built a cofferdam in front of this, diverted the water, and then put this one in. So this is back in the original channel, about 5 foot above the original grade, which is okay because of the downstream end. We had no place for water to go if we went that deep. So we raised the grade about 5 foot to get the water to flow on down the creek now. So we've got plenty of years for silt build up downstream now. So this is just the crew in there pulling slopes and moving dirt in and compacting the fill back up, bringing the dirt back in that we took it out of there and stored along the roadway, and bringing everything back. First day of hauling fill material in to get back to original grade, what we lost through the process of fattening the slopes and putting in the pipes. We had to make up the difference from a spoil haul. And then I don't have any more pictures because they have to be turned in by last Thursday or Friday. So today we built that little dip up with some 2.5 inch out of Macamo, found the grade we thought was the best transition back in, and they're putting Class 6 road base on it today, 30 feet wide, about 6 or 8 inches of that in there. Recrown it, get it all shaped up, and mag it by tomorrow night at the latest, I hope. So that'll be the goal, and open the road up. So. I think there's another video. We'll just do that one. There you go. So this is the other little battle we've been fighting. This is the neatest picture I've ever seen. I've never seen this view. I've never had anybody silly enough to turn upside down and take a picture in one. Work for me. So I found that person and he did it. And this is what's happening in a 6-foot culvert. And what's amazing is,
Did he have a Jersey barrier tied to his legs?
I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know. Some of us just have those kind of guys and some of us don't. So he laid down, took that picture, and that is a 6-foot culvert with only 7 inches of clearance at the inlet
This wasn't out behind Maverick, was it?
No.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell everybody, just because the culvert don't look like it's running full at the outlet end doesn't mean it's plugged up.
Yeah.
Because that orange color up there is a wall of water. That's what that is. And so the turbulence that's being created stops that water from coming in. It's an amazing, you know what's doing it from engineering standpoint, you know what's happening, but I've never seen it. And I've had more comments about that from guys like me in my business who said, I didn't know that's what was going on in one of them. You know, they know it don't fill up, but they don't know why. And that's just an amazing picture. So this is going on up at Road 36, which is Stapleton Road, up there on Spruce Creek. And we're struggling to keep ahead of this thing without washing the road out. And then we take this picture and we go, well, we ain't got a chance. You know, if we can't fill the culvert, we're not going to ever because we don't have the head pressure. Because typically it takes 2-to-1 ratio. In other words, if you got a 6-foot culvert, you need 12 foot ahead to fill that culvert. And there's only 16 inches ahead. So we know we're not going to win. It's proof right there. So next picture. So what we figured out finally is we let that water kind of go through the culvert, and a lot of times we kind of go over the road slow and easy, and then we come back in the next day with plate, a little bit of gravel on this road, and that was working pretty good in the early days of this water. Here was the second problem. That diverted towards Dolores, which got out into the meadows, going towards much of the ponds down there that Divots, Big Divots has. and we almost lost those palms because of this overflow and breached their dikes. So we knew we had to fix that problem ASAP. So we cut the road finally to relieve the pressure. And then when we did that, there's the cut just left of the big culvert. That took care of the problem. It brought it all back to the channel. You know, we sacrificed the road to get the water back on the channel and went to work then on, okay, what do we do now? And we thought, well, there's just another picture of it downstream, going underneath a irrigation sleeve, which was trashed up and causing restriction. So that thing was there. It's amazing how water comes out of space, man. I've never seen this. I've seen it like high, but never. So there's our big culvert, jammed up the logs, which was probably saving the culvert from being washed out, and we cut that opening and let that water loose and kept it in the channel. So we went a few days like that, and then the weather turned off colder, and then we put in should be a picture of some culverts in there. There. We're finally got the water under control. It's down enough we can work, and we're working on putting 2 30-inch culverts in that opening there where those guys are standing to help, you know, take some of the pressure off the big culvert. There's one of the two, no, there's the second of the 2 that went in there, and the plan's going well. We're taking pit run, and we're building a bridge back over the top of the pipes and replugging the hole. And everything, you know, the road's back in. The neighbors that live up there, they're happy to see they can go to town and get their supplies and whatever.
There's
We
still
think
a
we
lot
got
of
it.
water, still a lot of water in that
Oh, it's
culvert.
amazing. It's amazing. And here's the culverts working. That's the outflow side. So now we've got a 6 foot and these 2 30-inchers that can fill up now. They can actually get some head pressure and fill up. So they're moving a lot of water. And we went into the weekend and everything looks good. And I think Saturday night everything was a little iffy, and then Sunday morning we went up there and it was gone. The big one came, and we're back to square one again. So we just had to back away. We can't do anything until this water goes back down, and we're discussing options here. That sleeve there, that carries an irrigation line, and that water, even when it's cleaned out, will run right up to it and restrict to it. So we're gonna have to clean that channel back out when we get dry weather and put some different culverts in. But we have it's been laying there since I've been here. It was about an $80,000 purchase for a low profile, it's called a box culvert, metal box culvert, but it's basically a low profile culvert. And I got the plans out yesterday, we were discussing it, and I think this would be a good place for it. It was purchased for something else years ago, and all the parts and pieces are there. And basically it's just a kind of a dome-shaped, 21 feet wide and 6 feet tall. And we can make it taller by building stem walls and raising it up a little bit. We just gotta be careful we don't put a big old 6 foot hump in the road by doing it. But we can probably open this back up and use that this summer, put that in, and take advantage of it.
Where out on 36 Road is this, Rob? I mean, I'm
Pardon?
trying to, where out on 36
This
Road
is
is
that
it?
Stapleton, you know where the Stapleton Bridge is?
Yeah.
About 4 miles north
Go
of
around
yours.
it right before
You
you
go
get to
around and then
Aikens.
go back to
Go
the,
towards the Aiken Ranch, back
Yeah.
in the end
Right
there.
before you get to Aikens' place right there.
Yeah.
Where the,
Okay.
actually where the county road ends, it doesn't end,
No, it ends in his front yard.
does it end in the
Yes.
front yard?
When we're not arguing about a gate, yes.
Yeah.
When we're arguing about a gate, it ends right there, yes.
That culvert was bought to put in Rock Creek down there in McComo.
Is that where it was for?
That's what it was originally for, and then we changed and did whatever we got there now.
Okay,
But that's what it was bought for.
well, we still have it.
If I remember right, I think that was bought for that, for
Rick
Rock
couldn't
Creek
remember.
so
down
it's a
there.
Exactly.
box, it's a box culvert?
Well, it's
a
like a multi-plate.
It's a
But they call it
multi-plate
a
that you,
box culvert, a metal box culvert, but it is like a multi-plate where you put bolts, bolt it together.
Yeah.
And it comes up and then it breaks over and then it comes back down. So we can get about a 22-foot span of water through it. And if we can figure out our elevation without having to build a huge, big old hump through the road, I think we can make it fit. So, and that'll, cross your fingers, hopefully take care of this because we don't have that culvert restriction.
Sure,
You know, that culvert restriction is a big deal.
sure, because
You look
it's,
at that, you know.
Yeah.
that's a lot less friction or restriction that's gonna go through that.
Yeah, when you
If
lose
it's
50%
6 foot
of your
tall.
capacity without head pressure, you open that up 21 feet wide, even if it is only 6 foot tall, that river will move through it without no restriction. We'll probably triple the capacity.
That's a lot wider.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, yeah. So there's our plan. I know that this has been frustrating for a lot of people. Well, thankfully, it's not a main road. It's not something that's The people that live up there have been extremely nice to us about it all. They understand it completely. They've got a vehicle on each side. They get back and forth. And so what could we do anyway? You know, we can't fix it till we get the water off, slow down. So it's been fortunate for us. It wasn't a road P or an inn or something like that that had so many people on it. So that work will continue, and we'll have to continue on through that through most of the summer, doing cleanup and repairs on a lot of this work. So, and the cost on that hasn't been extremely expensive. I don't want to make it sound like it's a money thing. It's just a time thing. The manpower we put into that, fixing that road and trying to keep it open, we're not doing other things we need to be doing, you know. So that's the cost, to be honest with you. So moving on now, this is our 2023 road schedule for repairs and new chip seals and different things. I wanted to bring that to you today so you have that to look at or whatever. It's a target, and this is what we're looking at. But no new chip seal is planned this year other than Road P, where we want to put that damaged section back together. It says 3/4 of a mile, but that's only because it's a 1/4 mile, 3-layer stick. So that's why it says that. So we want to get that done. We want to repair Road P. There's, you know, the cost of that. We're tracking all that, the culvert and the fencing. We still got to build fences on the upstream, downstream side, the flow fill. So that was a strain on our budget, but we threw it in there to make sure we didn't spend money somewhere else that we don't have by putting it on our list here. 1-layer chip seal. This is our maintenance stuff. We go in and we do the blade patch, and then we put the 1 layer on. So we've got Road V out at Lewis from 491 over to 19. That was chip sealed 9 years ago when I first come to work here, and it's needing it now. We've got to get a maintenance course on it this year. Road M from 491 to Road 22, that's west of the cell barn there. Road 23 from Road L to 491, that's a north-south run. That all was done 7 years ago too, so it's due for its maintenance course now. Same as Road 22, L to P. And then Road P north of 145, on 145, we go east back over to the end of the existing chip seal there with a layer of new chips with some blade patching. And then Road 29 is our asphalt specialties crew. Will come in from Utah. We'll pick up where we left off last year, just north of Road M there, about a 1/4 mile, and we'll go up to 184 with that chip seal coating and put that on to get those cracks covered up, which we still are finding that was an excellent way of fixing what we did last year. That's held up extremely well. So
Is that kind of like that slurry seal? Is that what that is?
It's just a special oil that they develop for our chips. They take into account our 200s and the size of our chips, and they do their magic. It's kind of a proprietary thing. They really don't tell me what they do with it, but it costs a little more money. Comes highly rated and highly recommended from other companies and different people that have done it. And we tried it, and we are extremely happy with what we got for results on it so far. So, and I think, you know, down the road in the next 10 years, you'll see a lot of this if we continue with this plan. Where we was paving, like Road 25, for instance, is starting to show some wear. It's getting pretty old on the asphalt layer now. So it's going to be a chip seal now. It'll come up on the next one on the list, so all the way up through there. So it seems to be a real good way to keep up with the maintenance on our paved roads now. So. Asphalt overlay, we're still on board to go with Road 23 at the airport and Road S up at Hay Camp. I did talk to Four Corners yesterday about Hay Camp, and they were trying to put me in first, and I said, well, I'm really not ready yet. I don't really want to pave it yet. It's still a little bit dry on wet on the shoulders. And they were happy to hear that because they need to go do another job for about 2 weeks. So I think in about 2 weeks we'll see that one. I have not talked to Elam. I know they were reaching out here a while back with some paperwork, so I know they're interested, but they were bidding that airport work down there.
Didn't we get a email, I think it was sent to you also, Rob, that referenced from Jeremy, from the city of Cortez, as far as that coordination between, because I think he said they bid the airport,
Yes.
like you said, the parking lot or something?
Yeah, they did the parking lot.
So that we don't kind of walk all over each other, or maybe we can do ours?
I went through all the plans with them. They're through their engineering company. And we made some changes. They had a bunch of curb and gutters out on the road, and we said, you can't do that because of snow plows. So they moved things back, and they made some changes for us, yeah.
So another little hiccup, when I was talking to Drew this last week at the conference, they can't get anybody to bid that parking lot.
Yeah, that's what I heard
So
yesterday.
they're running into problems.
Yeah, nobody bid it. So they're going out for rebid, so,
It's already too late in the year,
that's why they didn't bid it.
especially with everybody getting start 30 days later than normal.
So basically, in my interest, we're okay. We'll go in, we'll pave the road, we'll have it all done. When they build the parking lot, they can just tie right into it. So we just gotta work with them on not putting curbs and gutters
Yep.
and sidewalk things out on the street, out on the road, you know, so.
Yeah, good.
So I
Thank
think it's still gonna work out pretty good. It's just unfortunate they didn't get to do theirs right now, so. And so then there's also the bridge on Road N. As you all know, we're starting that. I've already mentioned that, and that's 20% of that cost is gonna be in our budget. So I threw that on there as work this summer. Even though we're not physically doing the work, we still have to reconcile with it. So there's that. And then I didn't mention it, I forgot to, but we do have 91 miles of mag chloride to put down this next 6 weeks too. So a lot of work, a lot of things going on here, so. Alkali Bridge update, notice to proceed was sent out to them yesterday for signature. Our first pre-con meeting with the contractor, Bechtel, CDOT, and myself will be in my office on May 8th. And then the pre-survey meeting with the survey companies and the engineers will be, meet with Google on Thursday of that week, same week, 8th, 9th, 10th, that'd be the 11th, I guess. And May 15th is our target start date, so contractor will be closing the road and start working on it. So everything's finally coming together. The birds are under control, and I haven't seen any activities with the mice or the snakes or anything out there, so. The landowner had a little issue there on his side of the fence and kind of kept everything scraped back and trying to do some remediation on part of his slope, so I don't think there's any activity in there. I think he kind of kept things shook up enough to keep things from settling in there, so. But it looks good. I think we're ready to go, so. Any questions?
Nope. Good to go.
I'm done.
Quick and easy.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
You betcha. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, Bonnie, noxious weeds.
Mine's a lot shorter than Rob's.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you.
It is. Yeah. I really liked your presentations, though, all the pictures.
Well, thanks for coming. We'll see you next month.
Are you? Yeah. We did the garden show. It was actually a really good turnout. We had a good time. A lot of people stopped by, which was great. Next. I did a wildfire adapted partnership ambassador meeting on 4/18. We had several people and we did Zoom. So we just kind of talked about fire risk of certain species and how to manage them. Yesterday we did an event at the Dolores School for third graders, just talking about how you spread noxious weed seeds and how you can prevent spreading them. So that was kind of fun. Future, we're going to do an Herbicide 101, May 9th, June 6th. So it's open to anybody in the public. CDOT's going to send some guys. Hopefully we can get some workers from maybe Basin Co-op, IFA, people selling them so we can kind of inform them about herbicides and just the basics. And then people, you know, that are managing their weeds by themselves on their properties, if they want to come kind of learn about different herbicides, that's going to be for that at the annex. We're going to do a plant ID June 6th, July 11th, and August 15th. Reseeding seminars are going to be May 23rd and September 19th. Ignore the last part. Next.
Looks like you're going to manage politicians.
Yeah,
Well, good luck with that.
thank you. Here's a before and after on the Schuster property down McElmo, looking at the creek. We finished their property a couple weeks ago, so it's looking really good. Next. Some more before and afters. Next. It's a good one. Next. Next. See all that salt cedar that we removed, but we leave the native trees. Next. Plants that you're seeing bloom right now. Who am I going to pick on? Mel on the left. What is that? Top left one.
Weed.
Pastor Gerald.
Weed.
Do you know what that is? The left one?
It's a
Justin,
weed.
get off your phone. What is this?
It's not goat thistle.
Ian? Oh, I'm failing at my job, apparently, guys. Come on. It's red stem fillery. So this is a winter annual that you'll see popping up. It has a long, like, kind of thorn on the seed heads. You can see in the middle. I guess that's all the same species, yeah. Okay, red stem fillery, next. Okay, I'm opening up this one to everybody. You see the purple flowers everywhere where you're driving around?
Those are
You
pretty.
recognize those? It's called blue mustard. It's an annual. It's not on the noxious weed list, but it is non-native to the United States, and it can be invasive. It's an annual. So managing these annuals, the big thing is trying to get a perennial established in that area to outcompete these annuals from coming up. But we're getting a lot of calls from blue mustard. It's really stinky. It's not poisonous or anything. It's just very invasive. Next.
How do you manage that? Glyphosate,
It really depends on where it's
Turn the
growing.
cows in.
turn the
Your
cows in?
cows- I mean, ultimately, like I
They
said,
love it.
I was thinking about mowing it and then burning it myself.
They actually eat the tar out of it.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
You got
ultimately,
a couple
long-term,
dozen you want to loan out?
you want to put a perennial grass. I mean, if it's driving in gravel area where you want bare ground, you can put a pre-emergent down to control the seeds.
Okay.
And that's really good for doing for any annuals. But then if you're planning on reseeding in that area, you don't want to use that pre-emergent because that's going to control the seeds. But yeah, livestock eats it. Just the problem, it is invasive and it will prevent other species from growing in that same place. So it's good to get rid of it and promote more native in the grasses. How about this guy? You'll see yellow blankets everywhere, very low growing. This is called Burr Buttercup. It's an annual. It's not on the noxious weed list, but we get a lot of phone calls about it. Yeah, it's pretty easy. You can even probably drag a chain across a harrow or something and it will pull all these little guys up. But most of the time you'll see this in very disturbed areas where they're just wanting gravel, so that pre-emergent works very well. Next. You guys know this. Travis. Jim knows it. Yeah, I guess you can call a friend. Cheatgrass, downy brome.
Cheatgrass, yeah.
So it's pretty much too late to do anything with this stuff now. I've already seen it go to seed in some areas within town. It's very flammable. You're not going to want to just try to burn it because you're going to cause a fire and it's going to go into your neighboring properties like we've seen in the past. So, I mean, when you're dealing with cheatgrass, you really want to get ahead of it. Fall treatments are the best. Put a pre-emergent down, try to control it that way, get a perennial grass established. These guys are germinating in the fall and early spring, so if maybe you seed with a warm season grass, it's germinating at a different time, so it won't have that competition. Next. All right. Kim?
I talked, the one on the right's white top.
It's all white top. Yep.
Yeah.
So you can see kind of the rosettes on the left, but it
Yeah.
is starting to bud out. I went and treated the Fairgrounds for the white top. Fairgrounds is looking really good, but that white top is relentless. It'll go dormant for a couple years and then it will pop right back up. So right now is a great time to treat it. It's known to cause bloating in livestock, but maybe goats and stuff can tolerate it. I don't know if cows really eat this. But herbicide is probably the most efficient way. You're going to want to really kill the root system before you try to reseed anything in this area because it's just going to be choked out by the root system of the hoarcrust. So you got to kill it before you can do anything else. So we do have our backpack loaner program up and running. It's $10 a sprayer. If you got white top, let us know. Let's get you hooked up with the backpack sprayer soon because the timing, we have a short window to manage this. Next. Ooh, this one is evil. You'll see little blankets. It's kind of a blue tintish when you're driving down the road. This is kochia. So this grows up as like giant Christmas trees on the side of the road.
Quickly.
Yes, very resistant to majority of the herbicides we have available. It is an annual, but it's very aggressive. It's non-native. We're getting very good control on our county roadsides using the pre-emergent. But this is a stage that it's easiest to kill it at. Once it gets bigger, it's harder to kill. People think it's going to just disappear after you spray it when it's big. Well, you're just going to have a dead big plant. It's not going to evaporate. So when you get it when it's small, it's better. Okay, you're also going to start seeing some rosettes coming up. This is a musk thistle. You'll see the bull thistle, musk thistle, Scotch thistle. Canada thistle, you'll start see poking up, but you don't want to treat it now because it's not going to be taking the herbicide down to the root system. You also don't want to take a shovel to the Canada thistle because it will stimulate the root system to send up more shoots. Some farmers try to till it to control it, but a 1/4 inch of a root fragment will grow an entire new plant. So you don't want to really mess with the Canada thistle right now, but these rosettes for the musk and bowl and scotch, if you just get a shovel, if you sever the root system, flip them over, they're done. Next. Oh, that's all she wrote, guys.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I see on internet and everywhere, organic, it's not an organic treatment, but homemade treatments with salts, vinegars, dishwashing soap.
You're sterilizing the soil.
Okay.
And a lot of people like the vinegar. They say it's organic, but you know what? I take the rust off my horseshoes, vinegar. I soak it in vinegar. Like, I don't want to put that stuff in my soil. It's going to sterilize your soil. It's a burn all, so it's like glyphosate. It's going to kill your grass. It's going to kill whatever it touches. It might not kill the root system, and you have to get a high percentage rate of the vinegar. So it's more detrimental to the environment than actual herbicide is. It's just not a good idea, but if you come to the Herbicide 101, I can explain it in more depth. But yeah, salt. Why would you put salt in your soil when you know that, a lot of plants can't tolerate salt?
Right.
So.
I see a lot of that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and dish soap, it messes with the pheromones of the bees too. So a lot of people don't realize that. Yep, the EPA these days, since DDT caused all the havoc, we have an environmental protection agency, and it's super strict on which products are allowed to the public. They're very specific on which species they target. They also don't injure any microbial activity or fungus within the soils. They're very high tech and they're very safe compared to some of the stuff that we're using every day. Like bleach. You're not going to want to dump bleach all over your grass. It's just going to kill everything. Yet we wash our dishes with it every day. The toxicity of bleach is actually a lot higher than all the herbicides that we use. So just putting in things into perspective. Good talk?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day. Kill the hoary cress.
You too. I will go jump on some
Glyphosate for
kosher.
everybody.
All right, Mel, landfill.
Budgets, we're not in the black or the red this last month for April, March. I forgot the one deal. I got 2 letters, emails from CDPHE yesterday afternoon. One of them is they're changing the waste tire rules. It's not going to affect us a whole lot other than they're changing the rates on what they pay. So last year we received $20 a ton to use the shreds for ADC. They've dropped all the rates. We're only going to get $12.50 this coming year.
What was the reason for the rate?
I don't know.
Reduction.
They're having a Zoom meeting to explain some of this, and I'll just have to watch the recorded version of it because we're busy. We're incredibly busy down at the landfill. We have cars coming both ways, lined up the scale, people honking horns because they're impatient. I got 2 people out in the sales, scale lady, the rest of us are building the compost pad. So it's been crazy down there. The other email I got, which is sitting, part of it is sitting in front of me here, is CDPHE's been behind on renewing permits for water. Everybody's different water, stormwater permits, industrial water permits. We have a stormwater permit down there that I have to monitor every quarter, send in a report. We have a runoff, send it to a lab. On that runoff, we exceed every single time on suspended solids. Iron is once in a while. They're cracking down on exceedances. They want it to stop. But in their paperwork here, this is going to be our out on that, because there's no way we can stop the suspended solids. This is a natural drainage area. It covers a huge area. It's the main drainage between the landfill and the Carver property. It's on the north side of the old Carver landfill. The canal that goes to Toyac runs underneath this drainage. Last fall, when we had that massive rain, that filled up about 16 feet of water, took out my stormwater drain. There's no way we're gonna ever slow that water down enough to get rid of the suspended solids. One of the rules in CDPHE, the one exemption they do allow is Colorado permit only allows one exemption, which is when it is due to natural background concentrations. And that's what we have down there. So there's no way we can change that. So that's where we're at. I think I should have a picture on Carver Field or progress on that. This is the south end. It's up to grade, subgrade. Most of what you see in that picture. Some of the areas are cut, some of the areas are fill anywhere from a 6-inch lift to almost 4 feet, about 30,000 cubic yards of soil we're moving. We've about got one lift all the way across the whole Carver field as of yesterday afternoon.
That whole field is about 11 acres, you said, right?
It's 7
7.
acres, yeah. Engineer on site, he tests it, we gotta meet compaction, moisture, all that, every 6 inches. I forget how many 30 tests I think he's gotta do throughout the deal. When we get close, Rob's gonna loan us a blade and an operator that can actually operate a blade properly. Randy Bouet will be there. We'll get the subgrade met, it's gotta be within 2/10 across the whole thing. Then we'll lay the 6 inches of clay. The liner should be on its way for the pond. Hopefully, towards the end of May, mid-June latest, we should have this project done, I hope. We're making pretty good progress with the clay. We're slow today. We had a machine go down. I'm here, so. The crew's working 5/10s, rotating Saturdays, trying to get this done. That's where we're at.
Okay. Maybe we'll drive down and look at it.
Okay, we'll be there,
All right.
unfortunately.
Thanks, Mel.
Anything else?
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mel, appreciate it.
All right, next up, we have the Fairgrounds, Mr. McGuire. Make sure there are no noxious weeds on that 7 acres of field.
I never stopped a weed.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
So we've been busy. It's been a good month for us, and not going to help our case this weekend. So we've had several things out there. Commodity giveaway, 4 States Ag Expo. We had that this last month, as well as the gun show. I think they had one of their best turnouts on Saturday for the gun show ever. We also had the first set of car races out there at the Speedway that Garcia Motorsports put on. And in this last weekend, Friends of the NRA had their banquet out there. Got a lot of stuff upcoming. This weekend we have the Cinco de Mayo cultural event, which is going to be some Native American dancing, some vendors on Friday, and then a concert Friday night, followed by a team roping on Sunday. And then also this weekend they're going to have some car races out at the racetrack, and Kiwanis is going to come in and do their annual charity night on Saturday night. And then we're going to follow that up with a flea market on Sunday morning. So that's going to be our first flea market. Give it a shot. And then I believe Jessica come in and talked to you guys a little bit yesterday about our LORE grant that we were. So that's going to help give us some seating area and some shade for that flea market. And then also, you know, we can dual purpose that into things like the fair and other events that might need picnic tables and such. So, right around the corner, 12 hours of Mesa Verde's mountain bike race is going to be out there. So, I hope you guys are ready for that.
Ready.
And then,
I got my chair all warmed up.
do you?
Yeah.
The National Mustang Association is going to have their tax sale out there May 20th. And then another commodity giveaway June 3rd. Then we do got a couple meetings that's going to be out there at some point. Bonnie's going to have a reseeding clinic out there, and I think that one was May 17th. I didn't put it on this list. And then OREC's going to have a meeting out there as well in May, using the meeting rooms. So other than that, we did get the transformer upgraded down at those lower barns. Empire came out and got that put in. Now we're kind of in the process of getting those wires and all the receptacles on the side of those buildings upgraded to the 30 amps. We're still kind of working on our outdoor restrooms. We've kind of got a little bit of a hold on those just while we've been busy, but here after we get done with 12 hours of Mesa Verde, we'll probably get back on those ones pretty hard and try to knock out a lot of it.
We're gonna be able to get those done by rodeo?
They're not going to be done by rodeo. Our goal is to be done by fair, but I've already talked to the rodeo and kind of let them know, so they're not planning on those restrooms anyways.
Where are you at on them, Justin?
Right now, we are basically working on getting the drains and stuff put in, the plumbing underneath the concrete. So we've got that kind of scheduled to come in and get done, and then we can kind of get our concrete patched up, and then I don't think it would take us much to start knocking stuff out after that. And I'm hoping here in a couple weeks we'll be able to start doing that. So
Okay.
that's our plan. The fire suppression system, I've been trying to get a hold and see where we are with that. I just haven't got any answers or any words on it yet, so I don't know where we're sitting with that as far as getting that third-party inspection done. I'm still waiting back on some phone calls for it, so as soon as I get some info on that, I'll send it your guys' way. One of the other things we're planning on doing as soon as 12 hours of Mesa Verde gets done is getting our stage out there painted up, making it looking a little bit nicer. Now that the weather's starting to turn good and we got a place we can get it under cover, that way we can get it painted and not have to worry about weather affecting it. And then I did want to talk to you one thing about our stage. I've had in the past different people come to me and ask me about possibly renting that out. And here recently I had the city of Cortez ask me about borrowing it for their 4th of July event here in town. So I kind of wanted to bring that to you guys. We do currently let City of Cortez use it for graduation, and we use it for the Parade of Lights, but we do have MOUs in place when we receive that stage.
To allow them to use it,
Yep, to
correct?
allow them to use those.
Yeah.
We don't have anything else in place. I just wanted to kind of throw that to you and see if you guys would be willing for that stage to go out for something like that, away from the fairgrounds.
I think the last time we talked about this, you said that it was more of it was problematic because of the way it has to be set up properly? Or are you recommending that you guys deliver it and set it up? What are you recommending here before I even get to the MOUs? Obviously, this, with the city, that's a standing MOU, so there's not an issue with that at all.
Exactly. Well, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about was, do we put something, or, maybe we put something in place where if it's like the city using it, obviously they already know how to set it up and everything because they're doing it for graduations.
Correct.
If we do it for something else, do we put a rate on it that says, we're going to take it out there, we're going to set it up, if we want to go that far? Or do we want to just say, we'll allow the city of Cortez to use it from time to time if they have an event and we don't need it first, and then that's the only people that can use it? And then do we put a cost on that?
So the MOU with the city takes care of that, and the city sets it up themselves, they just come and get it?
Just
And
for
that's
graduation.
described
Yep.
in the MOU?
They come grab it, they set it up, they bring it back, they just schedule with me when they're gonna get it.
So your question is, do we want to open that up to the public?
Yeah, do we want to open that up exactly to maybe not necessarily the public, but to like the town of Dolores or maybe even the town of Mancos if they were to have something going on, city of Cortez. I don't know if we want to go down the road of opening it up to the public, to take it to personal properties. I don't know that we want to do that.
Have we had requests from the other
I
municipalities?
have from Dolores before, but then they ended up not needing it, so.
How good a shape is that stage in?
It's in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
When we
is it?
looked at
Yeah,
it,
it's relatively pretty good. We actually just put new tires on it.
Okay.
So, got new rubber on it. The hydraulics work on it great. The only thing it looks like is it's weathered, but, you know, if we get it painted up, then hoping it make it pop a little bit. If we wanted to put a new flooring system on it, that can get pretty expensive. I've kind of looked into those, and I don't know that that's a scenario we want to go down, but,
eventually we will have to.
Yeah.
someday, yeah,
I
because
mean,
I think it's an 89, so I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
going to
yeah.
eventually wear.
that's a fiberglass reinforced panel flooring system it has on
I
it.
don't
so-
have an issue with
Government
the
to
other
government, no.
municipalities using it, but
Okay,
Publicly renting it out, I don't,
since it's ours, I mean, can you coach them through it to where it's not?
yeah, I can, and, I mean, it's pretty easy and self-explanatory. I mean, when you kind of look at it and see what you got to do to set it up. Again, if we're going the city of Cortez, you know, if they needed me to run over there and show them how to do it real quick, I could do that.
I guess you can work out the details. I think the
Okay.
only question you're asking us is,
Yeah,
can you
whether or
do it
not
to
you.
the other municipalities?
Exactly. Are you okay with this thing leaving the fairgrounds for certain?
To help
Yeah.
municipalities, Dolores, Mancos, Cortez,
yeah.
I don't have any issues with that.
Okay, and then with that, are you okay, I guess, just allowing us to let them use it, or should we put a price tag on that for
So let me,
anything other than our
Well,
MOU
so
stuff?
let me ask you this question.
Okay,
With it being used and taken down the road, is there wear on the tires? Is there wear on the
There
brakes?
is.
So the question that you're asking us, are we willing to subsidize that? And I think my personal opinion is there should be a fee at least related to something, because eventually we're gonna have to replace the brakes, the floor,
Correct.
the tires. So to just give it out pro bono all the time, I don't think that makes logical sense. Come up
Okay.
with a fee that makes sense.
so that's where I was gonna go with this. So right now, we charge $150 for if somebody wants to use our stage for an event. If we just charge $150 for somebody to come pick that up and use it for their event for like the city of Cortez, I think that would,
I mean, if
Yeah.
it makes sense to you, it
re-
makes sense,
As long
but
as we keep that money in an account where we can, schedule maintenance on it and keep it up. We use that money to
right,
keep it up.
earmark it for that stage.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
every time you rent that stage out, that should be earmarked, because eventually, like you said, we have to replace tires. Those are gonna be
Mhm.
the biggest wear item, because they're gonna sit and they're gonna dry rot.
and that was kind of the problem we had with them before, and that's why I got them replaced, because it just sits there and dry rots.
Right.
But, if we can rent it out and use it a bit, maybe it would justify us buying tires every 5 years or whatever it needs it,
Sure.
Um,
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think there's a cost associated with everything, and that's what we're trying to do up here, is we're trying to, we can't keep subsidizing or going in the hole. We have to at least break even. We have to, and I don't think any of us have any issues with letting it go out. So if the MOU is good with Ian,
Yeah, so Justin and I chatted a little bit. What I'll do is I'll just come up with an MOU that we can use between the different municipalities. Justin should be fine to sign that,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we'll just work out on that.
that's just
yeah.
my opinion, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
just, we're just trying
I
to
think
not.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable, $150.
And,
Or an
and that's
event.
all I kind of really wanted to ask, make sure it was okay in your guys' eyes through the county that we allow this to go to other municipalities, and if $150, I guess it's an okay number.
Everybody's
with
paying
you.
the same
Okay.
amount.
Yep.
Okay, Sounds good then. We'll go with that. And that's all I got on my notes. So unless you guys got any questions for me.
We, not necessarily a question, but an update. We did have Ian draft an agreement between Montezuma Water Company and us.
Okay.
And apparently it was supposed to go to their board, correct? And I haven't heard anything
It's supposed
back from
it's
that.
supposed to go to their board in May, and I don't know when their May board meeting is, but
So
should be,
hopefully
we
we
should hear
have that
back soon.
resolved
Yeah.
relatively quickly also
Okay.
on the,
On the water side of the
Yeah.
suppression system stuff, okay. All right, well, I'll get back out with or reach back out to the ones supposed to be doing the inspections with the fire suppression system itself, and hopefully we can get back that as soon as we can too, so.
okay.
that way we can
If the
start
two
getting
guys
things-
here can't do it locally, you might reach out to somebody in Durango that could do it also.
Okay.
Or
Sounds good.
ask Cooper if there's somebody even in Farmington.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to him, and they were out all last week, so I wasn't able to get any answers, but I'm gonna try to get back on the phone with them this week and see
Okay,
if there's anything else we can do if this doesn't work the way we're going, so.
sounds good.
Okay,
All right,
thanks, sir.
thanks,
Yep.
Justin. Okay.
Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
Maybe we'll drive out. Oh, I do have one other question for you. When the Ute Mountain Rodeo Club came in here last year, they wanted to basically gravel a 3-acre parking lot to the, it was kind of like southwest
Mhm.
of that main outdoor arena.
Correct.
Whatever happened with that?
So they're actually, and they talked to me about this a little bit here a while back, and we just haven't got everything together yet, because they wanted to come in and kind of talk to you guys about that. I believe what's going to happen is they were able to secure some sponsorship from a gravel company to just give them gravel for their sponsorship stuff. And then they're going to bring in X amount of loads. We just haven't worked out all the details yet as far as who's going to be doing the trucking, where we're going to put it, things like that. But then we were planning on coming in and talking to you guys about it and presenting it, make sure everybody's on board with it. I believe it's still Wimminooch that they're going to be getting the gravel through. And my assumption, it's a sure thing that they're able to secure gravel for it, you know, for trade of sponsorship stuff for them. But I'm not 100%. But we just kind of been working through all that. With the winter weather, we haven't really been able to do much out there, and we've just been so busy with our own things that we haven't been able to in-house at the fairgrounds deal with it yet. Because when they do bring out gravel, we're probably going to have to help, you know, blade it out, spread it out, things like that. So that's just something we haven't been able to have time to do yet.
Okay.
But
I was just curious because they had, were you here, Commissioner, when they came and talked to us? Or maybe you weren't. Maybe you were, I don't know. Maybe it's been 2 years ago they were wanting.
yeah,
to-
it was
they were looking at a
last
grant.
year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. We come in and talked about that because they were trying to get a grant for it. They were trying to get some grant funds for it through
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. Yes, that's right,
Mhm.
through T-Mobile. And for some reason, they can't get any answers back on it. So they are started to look at a different route of making that happen, and this seems to be the route. So what essentially we would like to do is there where our round pin is on the south side of the outdoor arena, between that round pin and the hill and kind of towards the racetrack a bit, there's a few acres like you mentioned. We'd like to try to get that all gravelled up so that we have additional parking spaces for like trailers, things like that during the rodeos. The fair could use it for, you know, trailer parking for that. Because right now it's just kind of muddy. If we get weather, it's kind of muddy over there, you know, dusty, stuff like that. That's what we were looking at for that.
Okay,
So, okay.
all right, thanks.
You guys got anything to sell at the flea market?
Well, I don't know. What do you, we're gonna go do an inspection later today. We might have a lot of things to sell at a flea market out there.
we'll bring it out, so. All right, have a good day.
All right,
Thanks.
Okay, now on to unfinished business. First of all, we push this off from last week, a decision as it's related to the Cortez Farmers Market for the request of the use of the parking lot, which would be the southwest portion of the parking lot. So I know Commissioner Lindsay, you were gonna wait to see what happened at Tuesday night's council meeting, and I'll let you expound on
Yeah,
that.
there was, nobody from the farmer's market made an appearance at all, so it wasn't brought before council.
Okay. So I guess then the request is to make a decision on whether or not they can utilize the southwest portion of the Heritage Center parking lot, which is basically all our parking lot. It's
Yeah.
just that they utilize it, so.
So this week I talked to Drew, and there was some conversation going back and forth between the city and Julie, and he was trying to get some things worked out. I don't know where that lies. I know that they didn't show up to the city council meeting, but I know that there was some discussions going on with them and as far as utilizing and blocking off some streets. But I don't know where that lies currently.
So I think with the discussion that we had, I think, Commissioner Copenhaver brought up a good point too. Is that when this initially was set up, it was to basically display the agricultural community's products. And it seems like it's morphed into something far greater than that. Now, obviously, we don't control that. We just have to make a decision on the parking lot. So it's a matter of,
I personally think that we should not be in that business of providing our parking lot for them to provide food trucks out here when there's all these businesses right
Restaurants.
here that they can get food at. And for us to provide a free space for them to compete with these other businesses right here is not a good policy, I don't think, personally. I mean, it's one thing if you're selling a product that is not available anywhere else, like most of the farmers market stuff that actually is produce that they're producing. I mean, yeah, you can get it down at the grocery store, but it's not right here close, and
Not
it's not
local.
locally developed.
not locally produced.
But, I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't think we should be doing that. I don't think we should expand it from where it's at. It's already morphed into way more than what it was supposed to be to begin with.
Okay.
That's
Commissioner
just my
Lindsay, do you
opinion.
Still not want to
Well,
engage,
I
or-
mean, I'm conflicted, but I agree with Gerald. I mean, it doesn't matter what is out there, whether it's food trucks or, if City Market wanted to move in a grocery store out there. I don't think it's behooving of the county to provide a space for commercial business because it competes with our other property tax payers. And that's just my opinion.
Okay, well, we get to make that decision. So, if they, again, we recommended that they go talk to the city, and if the city wants to work with them, I think that's okay. But I guess what I'm hearing is that our decision is going to be that we leave the parking lots as they are. And I guess, do we need a formal?
I don't think we need a motion to that effect. I
Okay.
mean, it is what it is right now, and I think the ask was to allow that, and it sounds like that's not.
And I think the ask
Gonna
from
be
the
brought forward.
conversation is to be denied. So Travis, if you'll let her know that, the ask is denied at this point in time. All right, and then we have a presentation that was given to us yesterday from our Economic Development Coordinator as far as an action grant award. Ian, I know that you have looked at this, and everything is in there. So gentlemen, I think we do need action on this one. What's your pleasure?
I move that we sign the Economic Development Organization Action Grant Award.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the Economic Development Organization Action Grant Award. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the amount is $26,000, just for your information. Okay. I'm gonna hold on to that one just for a minute. Next, we have a discussion on the signing of a LOR, the Lore Foundation, funding for the Fairgrounds Flea Market. Jessica also presented this yesterday. I did get the DocuSign late last night, so,
Yeah, I looked at it as well. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. They're basically gonna give us money to put up a tent and buy 4 picnic tables. And so, as long as we do that, we should be fine. There's not a lot of legal stuff in this one,
just
just,
pretty straightforward and simple. So, gentlemen, what's your pleasure on this one?
Go ahead.
I move that we sign this Lore Foundation funding grant for the Fairgrounds Flea Market.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the Lore Foundation funding grant for the fairgrounds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving right along to our attorney's report.
one thing I have to report, yesterday James Dietrich came in and presented the, general services agreement to move forward with the alignment of that trail for the paths to Mesa Verde. I did review that last night. I have a copy of it here. Really, all this is a notice to proceed. This has already been put out for bid and settled, and so this is just a notice to proceed. The way this has been drawn up, Travis will be the one to sign it. And so, if you guys don't mind, I mean, this is all stuff we've been over before, but we'll just need a motion to authorize Travis to sign this.
Okay, I would so move, we authorize Travis, our administrator, to sign the general services agreement for project 25346 MTF C320007, Montezuma County PTMB PH2 Segment A Phase 3 alignment sections with, who are we signing with?
It's Scott,
Scott Blogger.
and he's the authorized OTAC representative.
Okay. That was a mouthful.
That's a mouthful.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the general service agreement as it pertains to the Paths to Mesa Verde, PH2, Segment A, Phase 3 Alignment Section. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Travis will be the one to sign that, Commissioner.
That's right. I knew that. Okay. Is that all you have?
That's all I have this week.
Okay, very good. Administrator, Travis.
So last week I was out at CCCMA conference for city and county administrators. There was a lot of breakout sessions, really good information. One heated topic come up, which was Proposition 123 and Senate Bill 213 on the affordable housing and how that's going to affect rural communities. Really good conversations. Was able to attend a breakout session that our city manager, Drew Sanders, put on. That was very informative as it related to science behind workplace distractions. And you always feel like you're getting something done, but at the end of the day, you don't feel like you got anything done. It's because of all the workplace distractions of the meetings and so on and so forth. So attended that. Today I'll be attending another property tax Zoom meeting. And that's going to be kind of interesting based upon what come out in the news today from Governor Polis's office as it relates to percentages and the assessment values. So I'll be attending
Assessments,
that.
exemptions,
Exemptions,
percentages. There's a lot going on.
A lot going on, so.
On these bills, as was stated earlier in public comment.
So that's all I have to report.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Copenhafer.
This past week, I attended the NRA banquet out at the fairgrounds. There was very good attendance out there. Lots of people. They raised a bunch of money for the NRA. It's a very good crowd that conducted themselves very good, and participated in all the auctions and everything very well. The support from this community is, last year was the top of any of the NRA banquets in the state of Colorado, and I'm sure they probably pushed that limit Friday night too, or Saturday night, whenever it was. It was a very good time, had a good meal, everything. Other than that, I've just been participating in Southwest as far as their participation in the state legislature issues with water and stuff. And that's all I have to report this week.
Okay, Commissioner Lindsay.
Yes, I attended the city council meeting, and the city council did sign a letter of support for the Montezuma County TAP grant, designated historic designation on the property on 20 to 30 West Main, did the cost share for some concrete work in and around the city of Cortez, and also awarded a paving project on South Cedar Street. And they did pass a resolution in opposition to the statewide land use and zoning preemptions in Senate Bill 23-213. And, you know, with phone calls and some of that going on, but to talk to a little bit to what Alan was speaking about, we just got an email that they have re-added the preemptions to be into Senate Bill 213 for the land use code that we all thought was being taken out. So they're back at it again. And also the property tax bill has dropped up there and is ready to go. So here we go again. It's the last part of the session, and they're going to drop. This is where the big bombs come in.
We have 6 days left to go, and they're going to use every bit of it.
And
So,
just as a personal comment to the governor and the state legislature, listening to all of our departments and all of our heads, your government in the state of Colorado is broken. We can't get anything done. Time lapses are there. We can't function when you're not functioning. So I would appeal to the state legislature and the governor, fix the government of the state of Colorado. All this other bill stuff that you're passing, you're not taking care of business. Fix the government. I'll get all wound up for you. Shut up before I get all wound up.
okay. All right, well, I had a housing authority meeting. We did have a presentation set forth before us a couple months ago in a retreat that we had as far as its moving forward with the development on the property that the housing authority owns over north of Safeway. There's a lot to be discussed on that, but you know, there is a conceptual plan moving forward. Don't know what kind of length of time that's going to take, but at least the conversation has started. We had a workshop yesterday. First off, we started with our Planning and Zoning Commission as far as the discussion and dialogue, how it relates to planning and zoning. We shared our CDAP plan with them and gave them some thoughts and ideas of what we are expecting. They'll be getting back to us possibly with future discussions as it moves forward. Took action on 2 of the grant awards earlier for the Fairgrounds and the Economic Development Organization Action Plan. Talked about the Mesa Verde Segment A, and we had a discussion on the AC Solar Project option to lease. I think the direction that we gave was that they just go through the process, and that way we don't circumvent anything that we have as far as land use within the county. So no agreement has been signed or will be signed at this present time. We had an E911 board meeting. Shortly following that, we had a Nixle upgrade request in the amount of $2,714 as it relates to upgrades in the Nixle system, where they can basically put patterns together where they can pull people or pull people depending on where you're at and what the incident may be. They will do a presentation for us at a later date. We did ask for that prior to providing any funding for it, and we will get with our CFO today to make sure there's any kind of funding in there, but it was a $2,714 ask. The equipment updates also, we're kind of waiting for a cost to repair some of the equipment, and that'll be coming at a later date. And with that, that is all that I have. So, gentlemen?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this May 2nd, 2023 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
I-
Aye.